Secretary of Sanitary District to order. First item on the agenda is the roll call. Let it be known we do have a quorum. The secretary can list the people in attendance.
Don Billig, John Bruggeman, Roger Jackson, Walt Buller, and Crystal Pond.
Terry Marie.
Oh, and Terry.
Don't sleep on my chair.
Oh, we're.
Oh,
Great. Well, okay, Terry, you got it. We're just past the audience on the agenda.
Okay.
All right, additions and deletions. So move to approve the proposed agenda.
All right. Okay, roll call. Walt.
Right.
Or the other one.
Did that.
Oh,
We do, we have 6 of them. 6 of you.
all right. Okay, Walt, we got Brian, Roger,
Here.
John,
here.
Don,
Yes.
Crystal.
Here.
Okay. All right. Last year, fine. Okay, next let's look at the minutes of the November 17th.
Don't we have to, oh, that's what you did on.
So move to approve the minutes of November 17th, 2020.
Maybe. Get a second?
Second.
I'll second. Roger, second.
Roger, second. All right, roll call. Walt.
There.
For the motion.
Oh, for the motion? Then the motion is second.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Brian's not here. Roger,
Here.
John,
Yes.
okay, and Don,
Yes.
and Chris.
Here. Yes.
All right. Budget committee minutes. Questions on those? We do have. Who goes, do you? Any questions on those? Anybody look at them? Not. Let's go to disbursements. $60,630.45.
Well, I'll move to approve the December disbursements.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion? Questions at all on this? Okay. It's quick. All right, well, do you have a motion for that one? Okay. Let's go with Walt.
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
Robert's not here. Crystal,
Yes.
Don,
Yes.
and I say yes. Okay. Third reading of the 2021 budget.
Okay, we have the budget in front of you in color. So the last things that we've done now, the surcharge and the effluents have been adjusted. We have worked on East Koochiching's contracted services, that's been changed. And I think we have that coming up in new business, so we'll cover that later. On the third page of the budget, I'm just going through the changes from the last time we had the second. On the third page, plant maintenance, we raised to $40,000. It was $30,000 last year. And on page 4, we raised safety to $3,000. And the budget committee did decide to purchase jackets and bibs, overalls, coveralls for the guys in light green and black. And I found out this morning that East Koochiching is going to go half and half with us.
Okay, good.
So that's great.
Good.
Down towards the bottom, account 482. We have workman's comp at 17,000. That'll be going up to 17,300. Just got notice of that, so I'll be changing that to the budget. Then on page 5, the WIP account has been adjusted. It's up just a little bit. And you can see that we, I only budgeted like a $40,000 income compared to last year. I budgeted $100,000 less for the capital improvement fund. We'll probably have more than that, but we also talked about looking into an account that we can use for capital improvement funds and stuff too. But we want to talk to our account to see how that might work. Other than that, unless there's some questions.
Do you think we should have an account for overruns?
Well,
The account is okay, then.
things that really aren't included in the budget, you know, we might not need the account.
But it's there if we have to have.
You're saying that account for like capital outlays for the future you're talking about, or you talk just the overrun?
For the future.
Yeah, so like future needs that we
Yeah.
that might
Yeah.
actually move this.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And we might just be able to take that out of our current capital improvement fund.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Depending on how the account is.
Good. It's pretty good today.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, we don't know, our income, drop is due to, dry weather and probably some population decrease. So, when we get the new census numbers, that should be able to tell us a little bit. I'm kind of guessing that our census numbers maybe will go down 10%, maybe for our, in our customer area. I don't know. Does that sound logical or no?
Sounds logical. I have no idea what it's going to do.
There's
not
been
gonna
a lot of
increase, we know
construction
that.
going on, isn't
Yeah.
it? But obviously, the weather does affect our income.
Yeah. I think the dry weather has more to do with it, but
Some more I fixed. That's gonna be a difference too.
That'll make a big
Yeah.
difference.
No.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I'm so moved to approve the financial report prior to, get on to the budget. the financial report for the month. November.
Okay, we got a motion for financials.
Second.
All right, call for a vote. Walt,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
John,
Yes,
yes, Crystal,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay. So, are we ready to vote for,
I would so move to approve 2021 budget as presented.
Motion by Don,
second, this is
second,
John.
okay, thank you, second by John. Any questions, any more questions on the budget? If not, we'll call for a vote. Walt,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
John,
Yes,
Don,
Yes.
Crystal,
Yes.
and I say yes. All right. Old business, NPDES permit update.
Wait, can we go back?
Sure.
So we are not projecting an increase in our rates?
No.
Okay. I've had 3 people that said they watch our meeting online, and they told me they appreciate that's not a reason to raise, because they said it seems like everything around them is going up. And after so many people out of work and struggling. And I said, as far as I knew, we were not. And I said, you know, there was a final budget meeting today. And they were very appreciative of that, us not raising our rates, because it seems like everything around us is. So that was my.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, Mr. Chairman,
I think that,
and you should, Crystal, you should, excuse me, Crystal, you should tell them that it's been how many years? I think 5 years since we raised any rates. So, I mean, we got that to be kind of a bragging rights there.
but people do watch us online.
Here.
Mr. Chair, could we jump to, I apologize for this, but jump to a couple of items, because Jason Chop is
Sure,
with us.
you betcha.
And I know that he has another meeting that he needs to go to.
Okay, sounds good.
Jason, did you want to give us an update on the map to start with?
Yeah, I just got the feedback that you guys didn't have any further comments other than the updates that we discussed, Greg, on the Island View project. So we can go ahead and in the next couple of weeks here, we'll make all those updates, making sure that everything's listed properly. And then we can print out a one more final draft for review before you guys decide if you're going to laminate or, you know, put it in type of wall form. So yeah, that's there's not a whole lot of work there based upon our previous discussion, but we'll work on getting those changes made, and that can be finalized.
Nice.
And we've also been corresponding with WITSEC in regards to the city's bridging plan. They've made some clarifications and they put together a timeline to get their I&I problems solved. So we'll be having a discussion with SEH, Greg and myself, and possibly the MPCA. And Jason, did you have anything to add to that?
No, in that last correspondence I read, I think they were still working on sending us a detailed schedule. Did you ever receive that, Kelly?
Yes, I thought I forwarded it on to you.
Okay, I can go back and check my email. I just may have missed it.
Okay. Otherwise, I can resend it.
But yeah, other than that, my only comments on their plan that they submitted, they kind of referred back to their initial submittal in February. And to me, it would make sense if that was all combined into one document. It would be easier to follow. That was my only other recommendation. But at this point, if we get a schedule from them and it's adequate, and you can send it to the PCA for any further comments, and we can start moving down the road with the next steps.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Jason. Did you have anything else?
No, I can stick around here for about 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to sign off and hop into my next meeting.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, let's get back to the PBES permit update.
Just to let you know, we haven't still not heard anything, so no news is good, right?
Yep. That's good. All right, notice of violation update.
Greg, you wanna?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, board members, we had this yearly inspection, and you can see you got a copy of the violations and the responses that we had to each one of them. And I'll start with number one. Obviously, our no exposure exclusion for industrial stormwater. We apply for the no exposure exclusion every 5 years, and obviously we were late on it, and we believe that we ended up we changed our email address, so we were never notified on it. And we do have a certificate over there that shows that it was due in May, but it was overlooked for this industrial stormwater no exposure exclusion. So we did overlook it, obviously, but we were never notified. Normally they send out an email that is coming due and stuff, but we ended up having our email changed a couple of years ago, and these are good for 5 years, this certificate. So she caught that on September 3rd, and on September 9th, we completed that, and we have documentation that we sent to her in the response that we completed, which I have here. That it's up to date now, so that's completed. Item B on the violation 1 is she asked us about our ferric sulfate when we unload ferric sulfate into the filter building. She asked about if we had a storm-resistant shelter. I said, no, the driver comes, we hook up the hose to the quick connects on the building and the truck, we put pails underneath them, and it's never been an issue in the past. She's saying you probably should have a storm-resistant shelter there, but she said if we put these tarps down and the driver's watching when he's unloading, if we get a leak on a hose, he can shut it off. At least you can, what's that? Get the, you have the tarps laid there so it doesn't go into the ground. And that's never been an issue before, and we've had inspections in the past by our other inspection officer who's never brought that up to us in the past. But now she said that, she questioned that. Yeah. But she told us that the tarps would be sufficient.
Is she new or
she's new? It's the first time. And this was all done over the phone. All these questions came over the phone. Said, the off-site desktop. The second violation was some of the records with our contractor, Mountain Company. They feel that some of the gallons that were applied to some of the sites were over-applied, according to soil textures. Now, she's saying that according to the soil samples, it comes back as a medium fine textured soil that we applied to, so you have to go by the minimum gallons per acre if it says that, which is 10,000 gallons an acre. She's saying we over-applied a little bit on some of them sites. And a medium textured soil, you could put 15,000 gallons per acre down per day. She's saying we over-applied on a couple of them sites. But our contractor has done this in the past and it's never been an issue. So we're gonna definitely keep a little bit closer tabs on him and a little bit better communication with him. He's always told us and he's got it under control. He knows where the driver's got to go, the gallons that got to be applied and the sites and stuff. And that's why we hired him to do that. So we've got a letter from Mountain that was submitted to, what's her name? Mackenzie, yeah. And that's our response. So we submitted that to her, explaining that we will go by the soil textures the way she wants it done.
We also sent a letter to our contractor explaining
Yeah,
that if they don't follow our requirements, we'll be looking for a new contractor. And we sent that letter to the MPCA
Yeah.
as well.
and I've been in touch with Paul a few times about this and making sure that this doesn't happen again. We keep a little bit better communication on this. Also, the number 3 there, that there is, when we send her, before we apply this, the biosolids, we have to send samples into the lab to PACE, and they run our biosolids analysis, and that determines your application rate and your metals and your nitrogen and everything else. And they're saying, and we also have to send in 7 fecal samples. There's a 24-hour holding capacity there. Well, we sent it to PACE. They had to contract that out to Minnesota Valley in the cities, so then they sent it on to them, and it never met the 24-hour holding capacity, which has never been an issue in the past. We talked to PACE. They've never had an issue with that, and it's never been brought to their attention. That's been a problem. So now, what we're gonna do is, we're gonna directly ship that to their contract lab, Minnesota Valley. We'll send them samples directly to Minnesota Valley, so we meet that holding 24-hour to run those fecal samples on our biosolids.
Hey, Greg, now, when we, Minnesota Valley now, there should be an implied contract. I wonder if there's anything that says that, this stuff has to be done so it's legal. They know that. That's their business. And they know what this is being used for, and that it has to be a certain holding time. And they never said anything about it?
No. We asked PACE about it, and they said they've never had an issue with anybody coming back and questioning that. Because they don't do it there, and they send it on.
Yeah. Well, I think all 3 of these things are BS. Tell you the
I
truth.
think it's a little nitpicky.
And I think that we should send a letter to the MPCA and a copy to our representative about this. And like for one thing, there's not the notification by this email thing. Well, is that a legal way of responding to of talking to your people that you enforce on? What's wrong with a letter? Why, if there was no return by email, or you think that they would send a letter, printed letter, over anything that, like a violation, for God's sakes? This is a kiss of death.
Yeah.
Well, if they sent an email to an address that didn't exist, they get a response and said it didn't go through.
Well, that's what we got too.
Then they should be in contact with us that way.
It should have been a certified murder.
Yeah.
Is that
Say,
okay?
Right.
could we maybe, might be where we can use the coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities. We still belong to that group, right? I think we do.
What is that?
The Coalition of Greater Minnesota Cities,
I don't.
they're a lobbying group for the, they call outstate, Minnesota, systems. And, if they don't want to do anything, I would think that we should maybe talk to our attorney and at least send a letter just responding to this, saying that we don't agree with any of these allegations, or, it's somebody new. I never heard of this person. Have you, Greg? Have you heard?
No.
Boy,
No.
what every time
Come up.
she got, God, she might shut us down, for God's sakes.
You didn't get a fine or anything?
No, there's no fines or anything attached. They're just.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to make it a motion that we send a letter to MPCA about these violations and contest them.
Is that what we want to do though? We want to stir them up and.
I would say
Just trying to justify.
Right.
We want to stir up a hornet's nest.
Well, but they better have to be, you know, I don't know, they have to be, there has to be some limit to what they can do. This is crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy, I agree. I think Galen gave a letter back to FBA.
See what kind of response we get back.
Yeah,
See if they accept these responses.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, let's see what comes out of that before we decide what we need to.
Okay. And that's all the violations that we have.
Okay, anything else on the violation update? Not, we'll go to transfer agreement and bill of sale update.
The transfer agreement and bill of sale has all been signed and notarized, and there's nothing. So I'm just waiting.
Alright, so that's it. Okay, and then does that have to be, I think we've done all our part on that.
Yes, it'll be recorded. I believe there is a $49 recording fee that, Ken Anderson said the city would pay for.
Okay, so that's.
Most of them, yeah.
Yes. Gun City, every once in a while they do something.
Yeah.
Just kidding. All right, staff and committee reports, operators report.
All right, Mr. Chairman, board members. Just a couple of things here. Last week, our state boiler inspector was here and inspected our boiler. They do that once a year. And he noticed that one of our actuator valves, our fluid-filled actuator valves were leaking. We didn't even notice that. There's a little window that you can see the oil leaking inside there. He recommended us replacing that actuator valve. So I contacted Shannon's and they got another valve on order right now. It should be in here. Then we'll have them come in and replace that. Then he wants documentation that we've replaced it. So we'll make sure we contact him and show him proof that we replaced that actuator valve for the gas tank.
And how much did it end up?
About $600 for the actuator valve. Also, DMRQA, I think last month I seen a notice on there that everything was submitted and we passed the DMRQA study. In October, we reordered for next year, because that's what we reordered. All our samples are ordered for next year, which the study opens in March. So all them samples are ordered for the DMRQA study for next year already, and also our PTs for next year for 2021 through WSLH, Wisconsin State Lab of Hygiene, where we order our PTs for the lab that we do on a quarterly basis and keep documentation of that. So we get our lab audit, they look at that. Jennifer Thorson with the MPCA will review all that, make sure that's all up to date. We've been doing all of our PTs that we have to do to be compliant with our lab certification. As far as, like we already brought up, the new permit, we responded back to Stephanie Lyons with the MPCA about our permit, and we haven't heard a word yet from her about the new permit. And we're still operating under our old permit, which was expired in 2016. So that's how long we've been waiting for a new permit. Yeah.
We should fine them.
Yeah.
Is that common? Whether
They said they were going to really back down. Everybody's waiting for a permit. But this has been a long time for that.
And I had contacted Messer to find out if that was, the status quo. And she said right now it is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She said there's quite a few waiting. I'm applying for a new one.
Yeah. How long has it been with us?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. It's, end of December, we're 5 years.
No, it doesn't. Also, the biosolids annual report, that's due December 31st, and I've been in contact with Montaigne, making sure that that gets completed, and we should be hearing from him real soon here, and he'll be bringing it up here, and we'll review it, and he'll sign off on it, and I'll sign off on it, and then he hand delivers it to the MPCA. That's what he's done in the past. He said they just hand deliver it to him. So with that, we're just waiting on that too. And that's due December 31st, the biosolids annual report. Otherwise, everything's been submitted on time for our DMR. And we met all of our effluent requirements this past month, the last couple of months. And that's all I have.
Any questions for operators report? We'll move to director's report.
The only thing I have left is Jeff had approached me and asked if North Coach is planning about doing anything about the prints in the operating manuals for piping and electrical from Wixit from when they did the build. He said, you know, there's been a couple of times when he has needed to refer to the manuals or the blueprints and there's nothing available. It was before myself, but it was 7 years ago that the part of the plan was to receive these operating manuals and prints.
Yeah, we still haven't got them.
We still haven't got them. Having said that, it's not WSN anymore, it's just WITSEP. So, just wondering if the board wants to reach back out to WITSEP to find out if we can get this manuals and the prints. If you want to put money aside in the budget for legal fees, where do you want to go with it? You just want to drop it? I don't know. But Jeff said there's been a few times when he's had to refer to it. He just kind of goes blindsided.
Yeah, you know, Callie, there's monetary value to these as-built. I mean, because if we want to set up good a maintenance program or something like that, we want to be able to track all those pieces of equipment, and you know, that take a lot of time if we have to go through and do all that stuff ourselves. So we do have standing to sue, but you know, it's a long time now. We've been too nice, I guess, probably about this. Winston always has been a decent company, I thought, until this last project, and you know.
Sure, I would say that they would send a letter to this company with a strong mention that we are considering legal action and see what they respond. If they do not respond, or if they tell us to go fly a kite, then we'll have to deal with it legally.
Okay. That sounds good to me. Anybody else have any ideas?
Was it Kurt Meyer that you were coordinating with before, or was it someone else?
I don't remember right off. You remember, John?
Oh, was that there? I didn't hear that question.
Kurt Meyer, I think it's Kurt Meyer. Is that who you were dealing with before?
No, it was the project engineer on the last thing was what's his name? Gunnar Hallen. Yeah, Hallen.
Mark Allen. So that's who I should address the letter to?
Hallan, if he still works there.
I would address it to the company. You could mention that he was
The project manager.
project manager in the letter, but deal with the home company right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would assume that you have been in the contract that we supplied it.
right.
It's supposed to submit that copy of the O&M manual to the MPCA also,
So, it's,
and then to us, so obviously they haven't sent it to them either.
so they're gonna come back down on us to get that through.
I'll get a copy of the contract.
Yeah, and then highlight what it says in there and tell them not to see that.
And it was supposed to go to the MPCA too?
Copy of the O&M manual,
Yeah, the contract with it, and then highlight the part that wasn't.
We had hoped in the past that the City of International Falls could help us out with this a little bit. I mean, they have quite a bit of leverage against the Witzeth, their client. They're, you know, they spent a lot of money with Witzeth, but that just never happened.
I don't know if through the city's part, that if it's,
We want a copy of it to the CA, just to, let them know they have gotten it too. I don't know.
I believe that David Overster has sent a letter in the past, and I forgot.
I think he has, yeah.
They're way past the warranty period, you know, because that was only what, a year, the warranty. But maybe this is something different. This is, you know, this is not just a warranty of their work, except for, I don't know. It's an errors and omissions thing, you know. They should have done it. They didn't do it, and you could have collected back in the day, but it may be too late now.
Okay. So with that letter,
You'd rather the letter come from me versus David Overstar?
Are we gonna, what was that now? Are we gonna write them a letter?
Yes, I'll be sending a letter, and a copy of the contract and highlight it.
Yeah. Maybe we should say something like that. We will have use, we have, not urgent, but something like that, use of that information for, you know, project we're doing.
Sure.
Something like that. Yeah, we aren't just asking for it to be a pain, you know, we want that information.
Make a motion that we have, Bill send a letter to them. What's that? Give us the documents, but also send a CC.
Commissioner Cole, second by Don. Any other discussion? Not, we'll go to a vote. Walt?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Don? Driscoll?
Yes.
And I say yes. Good. All right, anything else in the director's report? No. That's it, Kelly, all right. Let's move into new business, the EK 2021 service contract.
Don, do you wanna talk about it? Okay, we put together a service contract, and we're doing it a little bit different this time, where we will do a monthly billing of hours over overtime hours, office supplies, technical support, and truck and small tools and stuff. Because we don't always use that stuff every single month, so it's pretty hard to say, well, pay this much per month. So we'll just bill accordingly when that comes up. Also, the licenses on the trucks will bill every year. Travel and training will bill bill accordingly, as we do with the gas in the trucks. So, we agreed on it, and the budget committee also approved raising the overtime hours from 85 to 90. And then Don took that to his board, and Don reported to me this morning that the board has approved the North Cooch, East Cooch contract. And the contract will be for 1 year, not 6 months.
I think that covers it.
Was there any questions on that? Don, did you have anything?
No?
No?
Is East Cooch board okay with this, Don?
Yes, I presented this to our board yesterday. They approved it on a unanimous vote.
Great.
So it seems fair. It seems fair. That's, the fairness doctrine is the main thing. I mean, you can do this different ways, to do the reimbursement, the charge system, but I think this is a fair way, and I think this will work just fine.
I hope so.
Okay, do we need to move this? I think so, huh?
I
Probably
believe
should
this board should
approve it.
Yeah.
approve it.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. Okay, got a motion to approve the new contract.
I'll make it.
Walt's made the motion,
I'll second.
second by John. Any other discussion? If not, we'll go to vote. Walt?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Don?
Abstain.
Crystal?
Yes.
And I say yes. Great. Everybody's happy. All right, the HR memo, amendment to COVID-19 preparedness plan.
Okay, you all have a copy of the memo that the Human Resources received and commented on. Basically, the only changes it has is that from here on out, if a staff member is going to travel out of the state, before returning to work, they will be still required to COVID test and to self-isolate until they have a negative result. The only change is we will no longer pay for that transition period. Because up until now, we've been paying while they're at home waiting for their test results. We will no longer do that. So, if the board is okay with that change, then we need a motion on it to amend our preparedness plan.
I would so move.
Motion by
I'll
Don,
second the motion.
second by John. Any other discussion?
I think it's fair. It's a fair change. So, they have an option of could either stay or not. Want to go. Yeah. The only thing that I could see would be an issue would be like an emergency on the street. Or something.
Right.
But that could be something we could address at the time too.
Exactly. All this COVID stuff is changing so quickly that's why they do these preparedness plans and let the companies draft them to their specific needs, because every company is different. We don't know, so. Yeah.
Something a little different done, but this is.
Just go on vacation
Once
or,
you plan to go on vacation and you can come back and go on with a good working day, pay whatever tax, I'm not approved with that. No.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Okay, any other discussion? Now we'll call for a vote. Walt?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Don? Yes. Crystal?
yes.
And I say yes. Okay. Letter of support for Minnesota Rural 1.
Y'all received a letter asking for letter of support. Basically, they just want us to write a letter saying that the programs they have are beneficial. They have representatives going to DC, I think, February 2nd. With like letters of support. So, if you're okay with that, I'll send a letter.
Also, maybe send a letter. Support to the water.
Second.
Second by Don. Any discussion? Not? We'll call for the vote. Walt?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Don?
Yes.
Don? Yes. Crystal?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. All right. Correspondence. We have to be transferred for November is $10,219. Our next meeting is scheduled for January 19th at 8:30 in the morning. Everybody all right with that? Okay.
January what?
19th.
19th.
Okay, fine.
8:30 in the morning. I'm gonna fall asleep. All right.
Should we make it later for you, Jay?
No, I was up at 5, moving a car that used to be working. All right, then,
Okay,
at 9:19.
Have a Merry Christmas.
yeah, you too, all you guys.
Thank you.
See y'all later.
All right, bye.
Okay.